I want to start by introducing two new phrases: relationship math and quarterback math. And relationship math is going to help make quarterback math easier to understand. So when you're looking for a relationship, you look for certain qualities and certain things. And we put the things we value into an equation. And then when I do the math, I come up with the things that are important to me. When I do relationship math, I come up with a certain thing I want. And when you do relationship math, you do it differently. You value other things that are different than I do. And your relationship math gives you a different answer than I come up with. If that makes sense, right? You're looking for a different person than I'm looking for. That totally makes sense to me. And everybody is looking for the right answer for themselves. We all have certain things we're looking for in a relationship. They're often different than other people. And that leads me to quarterback math, because every coach is looking for something different in a quarterback. They do quarterback math, and the answer they come up with is different than somebody else. Let's compare Ron Rivera, the head coach in Washington, to Sean McVay, the head coach of the LA Rams. Sean McVay is an offensive-minded head coach. He designed the Rams offense. He calls the plays. His focus is on offense. He's a nerd. He's also incredibly smart, but he's artful the way he designs an offense that scores a lot of points. It's pretty, it's flashy, and his idea of how to win a football game is score points. He wants to run an offense that scores a lot of points, and his focus is on offense. And a coach like Sean McVay, and in fact, Sean McVay didn't himself, he did not mind taking on a young, struggling quarterback, Jared Goff, because Sean McVay knows, hey, I'm an offensive coach. I have confidence in my coaching ability. I can teach that guy how to play quarterback. And Sean McVay taught Jared Goff how to play quarterback. Jared Goff is way better than he was initially in the NFL, and they have a great partnership and a great relationship. Now, Ron Rivera is a defensive-minded head coach. And a defensive-minded head coach looks at football differently than an offensive-minded coach. They believe defense is how you win games. And nothing irritates a defensive-minded head coach more than a quarterback who has turnovers. And let me tell you, I've played for defensive-minded coaches. I totally know exactly how this relationship goes. When you're a defensive-minded coach, you're trying to play defense. And when a quarterback keeps giving the ball to the other team, it's incredibly frustrating. It's a different perspective. You know, Sean McVay wants a sports car at quarterback, whereas Ron Rivera just wants a reliable pickup that he can trust. And also think about this right now. Ron Rivera, this very moment, is battling cancer. And when you go through a personal crisis, you become less tolerant of nonsense. There are things you're not going to put up with. I'll tell you this. 4 years ago, my younger brother took his life. And when you struggle with a personal crisis, bam, everything changes. You very quickly learn what's important to you. You're not going to waste time with nonsense. You value your time differently. There's no more screwing around. You start to realize, I value this a lot, and I'm not dealing with that nonsense. So when Ron Rivera does quarterback math, his quarterback math, he comes up with a different answer than Sean McVay, Andy Reid, Matt Nagy, a different answer than an offensive-minded head coach, because he's a defensive-minded head coach going through a personal crisis. By the way, I'm a huge fan of Ron Rivera. I like him. People say he's very respectful. People say he's a good boss. He makes expectations very, very clear. And when I look at the Washington football team's quarterback situation, with Ron Rivera's quarterback math in mind, I see a very clear and obvious answer to who Ron Rivera's preferred quarterback would be. But first, I want to explain the quarterback situation to you. You can decide, and we can have fun. You can figure out if it's as obvious to you as it is to me who Ron Rivera's preferred quarterback is. So first of all, you have Dwayne Haskins. He's a second-year quarterback, a former first-round pick. By the way, he was not drafted by Ron Rivera. And last year on film, I did a whole film analysis of Dwayne Haskins. He was very, very inconsistent. And this year, the trouble has continued. He's been inaccurate. He's missing open receivers. He's made bad decisions. He threw 3 interceptions against the Browns. And there's also questions about his maturity. One example of that is that after losing to the Ravens, apparently he was bragging about how he threw for 300 yards in the game. And people in Washington and that locker room and leadership positions did not like that at all. Now, that's one example of a lot of other things I've seen. I've seen and I've heard, by the way, behind the scenes about Dwayne Haskins and questions about his maturity. By the way, after that Ravens game, Dwayne Haskins was demoted all the way from the starting quarterback down to the third-string quarterback. And at this point, making Dwayne Haskins into a franchise quarterback is a big project. It's going to take a lot of work. It's a big project if you want to turn Dwayne Haskins from where he is now into a franchise quarterback. Now, I watched the Washington versus LA Rams game. Watched the whole game. And by the way, I want to say that Gerald Everett, the tight end for the Rams, oh my gosh, I love what they're doing with him. He is a matchup nightmare for not all linebackers, but the majority of linebackers really struggle to guard Gerald Everett. And what was fun about that Rams game is that we got to see both of the other quarterbacks that are in Washington. We got to see Kyle Allen, and we got to also see Alex Smith play. So we'll start with Alex Smith. He's 36 years old, and it was really cool to watch the guy play at all on Sunday. I think 690 days, 690 something, like I think it's 694 or 93 days before that game on Sunday. Maybe it's 693. Some crazy amount of days between that game on Sunday and then the last game he'd played before that because he had a horrific, terrible leg injury. Didn't play for like 2 years. And to come back from that was so cool. And I thought that Rams quarterback Jared Goff pointed out something really cool, how special it is that a guy who is 36 years old made millions of dollars in the NFL. He's wealthy. He's aging. He could step away anytime. And he decided instead to fight and do the hard work of coming back to the NFL and getting back on the field. That's an amazing story. I think everybody has a lot of respect for Alex Smith. It's incredible. It's no matter what he does, it's like I just is really cool. The fact he's there at all, it's a big deal. And by the way, it made me tear up. I was watching his wife and his 3 kids on the sideline, I guess in the stands, cheering him on. And I knew that moment was coming because I saw it on Instagram. And despite knowing that was coming, it still made me tear up. I went, oh, this is just a cool, powerful moment. I was like, wow, okay, it's amazing. Now, the reality is, though, that Ron Rivera is not attached to Alex Smith because Ron Rivera has a bigger goal, the head coach in Washington. A good story does not impact Ron Rivera's mission. And it's my job to tell you what I see when I watch film and when I watch football games. It's my job to be honest. It's not my job to make fan bases happy. It's not my job to, I try to, I don't try to hurt anybody's feelings. But the best quarterback on Washington's roster that I've seen is Kyle Allen. He's a boring, undrafted quarterback. He's not some crazy physical specimen. He's not a first-round pick. He doesn't have an amazing story. But Kyle Allen executes the Washington offense the best on that roster. He is the best quarterback they have. Now, by the way, I thought it was classy that they let Alex Smith play the rest of the game. Kyle Allen got taken out of the game because he got popped and a helmet-to-helmet hit. And they kept Alex Smith in after Kyle Allen even was, cleared to play more in the game. Washington were losing by a lot, and they decided, hey, there's not much to gain by putting Kyle Allen back in. And so Washington left Alex Smith in the game. They let him have that moment. I think that's really, really cool. I love that. Now, Alex Smith got sacked 6 times in this game. Now, he's playing Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's awesome. But the reality is that Alex Smith really struggled in the pocket to get the ball out quickly. There were times where he looked, I hate to use the word panicky, but something was going on. And when Alex Smith doesn't quite have the comfort level he should currently playing the NFL. Now, I think he needs more reps. We'll see how things evolve as time goes on. By the way, it was also raining really hard. That affected the way that Alex Smith threw the ball. That certainly didn't help him. But Kyle Allen, again, ran the offense better than any other quarterback I've seen play quarterback in Washington this year. Now, Washington's only touchdown on Sunday came with Kyle Allen at quarterback. They ran the ball a ton. They were not asking Kyle Allen to do too much. They said, hey, just drive the car. Execute the offense, don't make mistakes, and Kyle Allen was clean, he was efficient, he took easy completions, he had no dumb turnovers or throws. And by the way, Kyle Allen was with Ron Rivera in Carolina last year, meaning that Ron Rivera is comfortable with him. He's familiar with him. Kyle Allen has ingratiated himself with Ron Rivera and the coaching staff there. Scott Turner is the offensive coordinator in Washington. He came with Ron Rivera from Carolina. So Ron Rivera trusts Kyle Allen a lot. By the way, when Cam Newton got hurt last year, Kyle played. And I believe that Kyle Allen, if you haven't figured out by now, he is Ron Rivera's quarterback. That's Ron Rivera's guy. Now, I am curious as time goes on. Maybe Alex Smith gets better. Maybe he gets more comfortable. I don't think so. And I think even if it is accurate, he's also 36 years old. And I don't believe that Ron Rivera, how do I put this? Maybe I'll say it this way. I believe Ron Rivera wants Kyle Allen to be his quarterback. Based on the fact he's a defensive-minded coach going through a crisis, he wants the safe, solid, stable quarterback he can trust. That makes a lot of sense to me. Now, by the way, a different coach might do quarterback math and come up with a different answer. If Sean McVay was the coach of Washington, I think he'd try to fix Dwayne Haskins. He would look at Dwayne Haskins, go, he's obviously talented. He's a first-round pick. Let me do the work of helping him grow as a quarterback. I can fix Dwayne Haskins. So Sean McVay might take on the project, but Ron Rivera, all he sees is a immature turnover machine. He does not want to deal with that nonsense. And it's just a different approach. It's quarterback math. The quarterback math Ron Rivera does gives him a different answer than Sean McVay or Matt Nagy, and then probably also than the fan base would as well. Ron Rivera doesn't care that he was a first-round pick. He's like, I want to win games now and win games moving forward, and he doesn't want to deal with Dwayne Haskins. Now, I'm also not confident in Dwayne Haskins' future. It's really, really hard to overcome immaturity. His mechanics, by the way, are also a mess. He's been super inaccurate. And I will say this, what would interest me is if Bill Belichick traded for Dwayne Haskins. I'd be really curious to watch that. I don't feel that good about Dwayne Haskins in New Orleans with Sean Payton. For whatever reason, I don't feel good about that. I feel very good about Dwayne Haskins going to the Patriots in a tough scheme where they don't tolerate no nonsense at all either in New England. Dwayne Haskins would have to grow up fast under Bill Belichick. That'd be really, really fascinating to me. But I want to reiterate, as I look at this Washington quarterback situation, I very much believe that because of who Ron Rivera is, because of what he's going through, because of his desires, quarterback math, his answer, Kyle Allen is the quarterback he wants in Washington.